Well, welcome back to an episode of Wesley Live. I am thrilled to kick the series back off again here after Thanksgiving. And what better guest to have on our first episode back than Tom and Sarah Cochran, pastors Tom and Sarah Cochran. Pastors, how are you guys doing today?
Doing really good. Thanks, Joel.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having us. This is awesome.
Oh, you're so welcome. I was thrilled that you guys agreed to come on. And I think, Tom, I first met you, I believe, I could be wrong. I just started, I think, at the seminary, and you were the head speaker at an alumni event here at the seminary. It's been like maybe 2, 3 years ago, but was just
Yeah,
so impressed with what you had done there and your heart. And then I ran into you guys last summer, I think, in Florida at a district conference where you were
yep,
sharing with what you're doing now, which we'll get into that here with Destiny's Rescue. But just so impressed with what you guys have done and are doing, and so proud of you of being both alum of Wesley Seminary. So
Thank you.
I'll shut up and stop talking and just start off. You guys are you both from Indiana, or can you tell us where you're
Um,
from? Or
so yeah, kind of loosely, for the most part, Sarah's family lived up there. Mine still do. We actually met each other in Indiana. We were both kids. I was 3 and she was an infant.
no
When we,
way.
yeah, our families have been kind of tight back and forth, and so yeah, so we kind of did life mirroring each other. We both, when we were both younger, moved to Florida for a bit, and then moved back to Indiana, and so our lives had just kind of ran parallel to each other. So when we got married, our families kind of joked and said, it makes sense that you guys would get married. So yeah, so it was yeah. So we originally from Indiana. We pastored all of our years of pastoring in church ministry in Indiana. So we
Okay.
were in Fort Wayne, in Wabash, and then up in Chesterton, pastoring in Wesleyan churches. And then in Fort Wayne, we were a non-denom right before I started back into seminary. So yeah, so it's been a great ride. Indiana is native home to us, but now we're in Florida. We moved here about a year ago to open up the Southeast U.S. office for Destiny Rescue.
Wow, that's fantastic. And like, the church in Chesterton, that was a church plant, right? Or was it?
It was a revitalization.
Revitalization.
Yeah, so it had been open for a while, and yeah, it was a great learning experience, and got to definitely use a lot of what I learned at Wesley Seminary and revitalization in that opportunity there. And Sarah was able to influence quite a bit of that as well.
Yeah, while Tom was going through seminary, we were planting a church in Wabash.
Oh, wow.
And we
Okay.
were there for 6 years.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So you touched on you're in Florida now. So tell us how that happened, and tell us about Destiny's Rescue. What an amazing company, or not company, what an amazing organization, and amazing work that you guys do worldwide. Just blown away by what you do. Please share with us what's going on there.
Yeah, God called us into this about 2 years ago now. And just we were sensing a transition coming, and we started praying about what that looked like. And God woke us up 2 different times, at one at 3:30 in the morning and me at 6:30 in the morning the same morning, gave us the same scripture passage, and just called us out and said, step out, like the priest put their feet in the water, and Joshua, step out. And so we did, and didn't know what God had on the horizon, but Destiny Rescue just had an opportunity open, and we found out about it and jumped right in. And I started volunteering for a while. Tom was hired, and they hired me recently within the past year to be full-time as well. So we're enjoying being a part of it. We've gotten to travel a lot and see the work. Destiny Rescue rescues kids in 8 different countries, and we're adding more countries every year that we rescue in. And it's really, really exciting to see how kids come from such a hopeless situation of being sexually exploited, human trafficking issues and things like that, to just being free and getting to be kids again, and seeing the hope that they get to live into. So we're really blessed to be a part of it.
Wow.
Yeah, we as an organization, we have been rescuing kids for 19 years. Our founder is Australian and went on a missions trip and overheard somebody saying that they were offered a child to do with whatever they wanted for $400 US. And his heart broke, and he's like, we've got to do something. And he went back home, moved his family to Thailand and sold his business. He was an electrician by trade, and began to try to figure out what it looked like to rescue kids. Started with widows and orphans, caring for them, knowing that, okay, if James says that's true religion and I'm not sure exactly how to start, I can start there. And from there, just begin to learn, and God began to bring about people. So as Sarah said, I joined the team 2 years ago. She came on just a little while ago. She actually runs our national advocacy program. So anybody who volunteers to raise money, raise awareness, and support within their circles of influence, she helps them kind of strategize and talk through what that looks like. I serve as one of our directors of advancement. So I get to help raise funds, talent, and awareness. So speaking quite a bit, inviting people to join the mission, because the average cost to rescue a child is $1,500 US. That's what our average cost of our team to be able to go into bars and brothels and rescue. So we rescue a couple of ways. We do covert, so our guys go out night after night finding kids that are sold in just seedy places, and kids are victims of exploitation because of their vulnerabilities. They come in looking for jobs and then are tricked and trapped into environments that are abusive and are taking advantage of them. So our agents find them. We also do border crossing rescues in Nepal, where agents are there asking questions and interviewing kids and helping them see the realities of what they could have gotten into as they were crossing the border with somebody who was tricking them to think they were going to take them for a job or something else. We do raids. That's one of the primary ways that we rescue in the Philippines. Our guys are gathering intel, working with national trafficking police, and then bringing freedom to the victims, but justice to the perpetrators, and closing bars and brothels. So seeing that happen all over, even in the midst of COVID, but just seeing kids' lives transformed is just an incredible opportunity. I mean, one of the things that I think I really appreciate about Wesley and what we learned at our time there was the incarnational nature of the gospel. It's not just for proclaiming, it's not just for the local church. You have to be living the gospel out. So for us, that translated very quickly into this idea that we've been rescued, and because we are rescued, we should be rescuing others, and how rescue is necessarily just basically the gospel. So it plays directly into the work that we're doing, and just been able to share that very briefly with folks all over the U.S. and seeing folks grab a hold of the gospel message of rescue, but then the missional engagement piece of going, hey, I can make a difference and take a kid who's been trapped and see them transformed and set free and living lives of freedom and into their destiny. It's pretty amazing to see the transformation happen.
That's incredible. Did you say only $1,500 to rescue one?
Yeah, that's our average cost and that's the time that our agents spend in those places doing the investigation, paying the fine to get this child off site so they can break cover, tell her who they are, or start the aftercare process to make sure that they're going to be at a place where they can continue to be free.
Okay, Wesley family, you heard that challenge. Only $1,500 to rescue one child. How can people help? They're watching this. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Oh my goodness. So they want to help. Where do they go? I know I've watched your stuff on social media. You guys do a fantastic job. Just such inspiring stories and pictures, and a great use of social media. But how can people help?
Sure. DestinyRescue.org. You can sign up to be a rescue partner. So rescue partner is any amount monthly to give towards rescue. So if you can't come up with the $1,500 right away to do, then give monthly amount, and you can be part of that rescue family moving forward each month and get stories and everything of rescues ongoing.
Yeah. Wow. You can sign up to host what we call a Rescue Sunday. So that would be having Sarah or myself or another member of our team come in and present, or as the local pastor, we've built a toolkit that you can actually host the Rescue Sunday without us showing up. But for us to come in and share, or you to share, but helping raise awareness and activate the faith of your church in a missional component. There's churches that are doing missional stuff all over, but there are just those who, this is an activator of faith we found for folks. So helping them do that, so you can sign up on the website to be a part of that. Share the message of rescue. As you said, like our social media team is every couple of days, they're putting out a new story of rescue. I mean, because if I could I'll step back and say, just so far in the first 3 weeks of November, we rescued 74 individuals. In the month of October, we rescued 67 individuals. A third of those rescues were kids under the age of 14.
Oh my gosh.
So you will have stories of rescue, redemption, restoration, to be able to share the hope of rescue. And so you can help people by influencing them to go, hey, I found this great organization, and I'm using my influence to help people find out how they can be a part of it.
That's incredible. So what does the process look like after a child has been rescued? Then what does that child, where do they go? What do they go through? What's the process there?
So we've found out that, much like here in the States, the best predictor of health and well-being long-term for a child is to go back to their family of origin.
Okay.
So our team will investigate their family to make sure their family's safe. And if we can, we reintroduce them right away back into their family. Because then you get to not only provide a safe environment that's family, but you get to also help eliminate maybe the needs that drove them into vulnerability. So maybe that's a well in their community, or you find out job skills or jobs for their family. So microloans, things like that. So our team will do that. If not, we partner with organizations that may be a best placement for this child for them to stay, or help them find an apartment. Or we do have aftercare homes that kids can come into, but we really do try to reintroduce them right away back into family, and then walk with them through the aftercare process, and keep in touch with them for up to 2 years or more afterwards to make sure that they stay free. Because it's one thing to rescue, it's another to help them stay free. So as we say in our mission statement, we rescue kids from sexual exploitation and human trafficking and help them stay free. So helping them find, eliminate the issues that at hand for each child, because each child's different, so their needs are different. Some need medical, some need education, some need job skills. It's working with that specific child and tailoring their aftercare. In some places we rescue, we don't have a say in where these children go, but we do follow up with them to make sure that they're in care and progressing well. And so it's based on each country. It's contextual, just like all ministry is.
Yep.
A good example of that is the Philippines. So the government in the Philippines, when we do raids, they decide where all of the survivors go. But we have come up with a way to, because we also have a plan to share the gospel with each person that we rescue. Wow. So we've come up with what we call dignity packs in the Philippines, where we give them a Bible and some different supplies that they might need to just make that transition into safety, some clothes and stuff like that. So that's a good example of just how you have to go country by country, but always having a plan to both keep those kids free and also share the gospel with them. Wow,
that's incredible. I have so many thoughts going through my mind, thinking about our mission statement is to prepare Christian leaders to engage in missional ministry locally and globally. You guys are, literally living that out all around the globe with and you said the average age is 14 for the children that are rescued?
Well, the average age is about 14 to 15 of a child that we rescue. We'll rescue all ages. Sure. The youngest we've rescued, sadly, is 18 months with signs of abuse. But yeah, the average age is about 14 to 15.
Wow, that's incredible. What an exciting ministry. What a difference you guys are making. It has to be so rewarding, and just to wake up every day and know that you're making a difference like that that's incredible.
Yeah,
so, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, one of my favorite stories to share is a story of a young girl named Tala. She was 16 when our agents found her. She was in a bar, and our agent sat down and began to talk with her, because our agents, when they do covert, have to pose as customers. So he sat down, and her requirement is in this bar is to not only try to sell drinks, but to sit with customers, engage them, and to try to get them to purchase sex. So she's sitting down next to our agent, and she's bobbing her head to music, And he asked her, he says, do you like music? She says, yeah. And he goes, what kind? He was a professional drummer and toured with a couple of groups before he became a rescue agent. And she just looked at him and said, church music. And it broke him. He didn't know. He was just stunned and froze. So he pays a fine to get her outside, and he breaks cover, tells her who he is, what he does, and says, when you said church music, what do you mean? She goes, I used to lead worship at my church, but I'll do anything for my family to survive. And she had to go to work to earn money for her family to make it, to provide food. And he told her who he was, and she came into our care and was able to walk the process. And she's finishing up college today, getting a communications degree. And the last time our team talked to her, she was back leading worship and teaching Sunday school at her church.
Praise the Lord. Oh my God.
So, I mean, you think about the global impact. Another one of the girls that was rescued recently has not only professed faith, but she's led her mom to Christ. She's leading other kids to Christ, and she's going to be a missionary. So the global, she speaks five languages.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So yeah, the global impact of the gospel in this is just incredible. It blows me away to see God show up every day in just the most profound ways. It's incredible.
It's incredible. And the impact you're making right now, but you don't know down the road what the impact's going to be for the kingdom and what you're doing. All right, Wesley family, come on again. That's destinyrescue.org. Only $1,500 will rescue one child. That's, for Christmas or whatever, your family's looking for a gift. I mean, I think this is a great idea. Go together as a family and rescue how many children?
Absolutely. One of the things on our website is an advocacy tab. So if you fill out that form, I can help you set up your own fundraising page that you can invite others to join or invite others to donate to. That way you can keep track of your donation and what you're being able to raise as a family or as a group. Small groups do it. Different organizations do it. So let me know if you're interested.
Okay, we'll do that. And again, that's at destinyrescue.org. Now, was it last fall or last winter where you were on the road with was it like Winter Jam or
Yes.
who was that you guys were with?
Yeah, so throughout all of January, February, and March, we were out on tour with Winter Jam. So Sarah and I and one of our teammates got to travel around, and my teammate and I, we would alternate speaking from the main stage. And Sarah was getting our volunteers together, and really Sarah was keeping everybody in line, which was great. But and then we would be there to talk to folks in each city, the three of us. And just to see God do some incredible things. That the opportunity there was fantastic. And COVID shut it down a couple weeks from the completion, but it's amazing the heart of God in Winter Jam, and to see just them use their influence to help make an impact.
I was living vicariously through you, watching your post, and man, that is. I'm a closet drummer, so
Nice.
that was so cool. That
it was awesome to be right at front stage and get to see all the bands and everything, and be a part of the traveling group. It was really neat. Sleeping on a bus was a new experience.
I had a young girl come up and she thought I was David Crowder. Crowder's got a little bit longer beard than I do, but So with integrity, I did not sign her album. So.
Man, that's awesome. David Crowder, my hero. That's that's so cool. So you mentioned COVID, so kind of shut that down. How has COVID impacted what you're doing, or has it? I mean,
it has quite a bit. So when the quarantines happened and everything shut down, the bars and brothels that we normally rescue shut down as well. So our teams were able to go deliver food to the kids who are in care, and families in villages that we've been working with, that we know their vulnerability, just the realities were going to be to drive them into this type of an environment. And then we began to pray, okay, God, as we pivot, where are the places that you're leading? And so we launched a new country of where we're rescuing in that country. It's an undisclosed country, but we're rescuing in a new country. And we launched 3 pilot programs in other countries as a test to see how well that style of rescue or this process would work. So it gave us an incredible opportunity to just kind of settle down and to begin to pray and discern where God was leading, but then also to lean into the avenues that he was opening up. And, as far as our U.S. team, our team was still able to travel, and we did a lot more digital. So I got to be better at preaching to a camera and recording and sending that off to churches, and Sarah as well. But yeah, it was an incredible learning opportunity for us in the midst of that. Yeah.
So you say you're in 8 countries now, and you've got the one undisclosed, and then some pilot programs. How is it working with the different countries? I mean, are they all different, or are they fairly receptive to what you do, or?
Yeah, they're all different, and each country has its own way of operating. So we have a memorandum of understanding with each country that we operate in, and that kind of defines how we operate and the things that we can do. So, like I said, in the Philippines, our team works with the National Trafficking Police, so we have a great relationship with them, and hand information back and forth, and we work in tandem. In other places, we're on the border, and we have full authority from the government to stop any person, any vehicle, and ask questions and interview people as long as it takes to uncover the truth about trafficking. So each country kind of sets that up, and our teams have been really good at just how do you contextualize the culture and almost the missiologist on the ground to go, this is how we need to operate. And God has opened up incredible doors of favor with even partner organizations. We partner with over 150 like-minded organizations in the countries that we're in.
Wow.
And it's just been incredible to watch how each country has its own personalities and culture. So you operate within that, but God is good and definitely opening up doors wide.
Amen. Have I mentioned how proud we are of you and what you guys are doing?
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And like I said, I follow you pretty closely on social media. I noticed the other day you posted something about maybe a potential podcast in the works, or?
Yeah, we're tossing around the idea. We've got our equipment set up and we're working on content. We have a lot of people that ask us about our marriage and different things. So we have started coming up with some just fun stuff to really goof off, but just communicate and have fun, and hopefully make a difference that way a little bit too.
Yeah, and part of that drive for us is too, like, we have folks who we've just connected with all over the place, and some of them are on the edge of following Jesus. Some have yet to trust in Jesus. So as we do these opportunities, it allows us to bring the gospel into their device, their phone, right where they're at, and disciple people along the process of not only coming to know Jesus, but maybe growing deeper, or even encouragement to connect to their local church and local congregations. So it just allows us to use the platform we have in a creative way to have fun, but also to challenge and inspire folks to love Jesus and live his mission.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, you touched on a little bit earlier about the seminary. You want to just share maybe a little bit about how the things you learned here at seminary have helped you in your different ministries, or?
Yeah, I think for me personally, one of the things that has never left me from seminary is the intentional drive to connect with God. Whether that's the spiritual formation classes, and not just focus on the doing part of ministry, but the being part of being in relationship with God. So just personally, the last few months have just been a great encouragement for me to go back and read some of Nouwen and Bonhoeffer and others those books came directly from seminary classes. And to think back on conversations with Lenny Lucetti and Larissa and others, that just those moments marked so much in my spiritual formation personally, that even now it's still fresh in my mind and comes back constantly to dive in. And those words of encouragement that they gave at just the right time, those words of affirmation and prayer were just markers for me. And it challenges me not only do that for others, but to live into the moment, and to be a spiritual giant, as I feel they were for me during seminary.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you were a victim of COVID, if you will, as far as our graduation. You
Yeah.
graduated what, last August or this past
Yeah.
August, where
Yes.
was our first online virtual graduation consecration service. So I apologize for that.
No, it was great. I didn't, get to like trip over my feet as I walked across the stage or anything. So it probably saved me from something. It was good. I'm really proud to have gone to Wesley Seminary. Tom went through first and graduated what, 2015?
2013.
13. And so as just watching him as his spouse and then also working alongside of him in ministry, I really got a little jealous, and maybe I shouldn't admit that, but I got jealous of some of the studies, and I would, he would be reading one book for a class and I would grab the other one and start reading it and highlighting it. And he's like, oh, let me see those highlights, But
I gave her credit. I cited her.
I got jealous of the learning because I knew that I needed more as a leader. And I also really appreciated just how I saw him grow as a person, not just as a leader and a pastor, but growing as a person and in our marriage and in his character and everything. And so I kept saying, I want that. I want that. And so eventually God led me to start seminary as well and finish that. But I really love, my favorite thing about seminary, what we got to do together was go to Greece.
Yeah.
On a Greece trip, and that was very memorable. I was just looking at pictures the other day from our Greece trip, but that was pretty transformational for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Tom, how about you? Do you have a favorite memory about seminary or?
I remember, I think it was a Bible class that I was in with Dr. Larissa, and I think Dr. Drury was in that class, and I adamantly took a stance on something, which is not like me at all.
Is that right, Sarah?
and they lovingly corrected me, but they also taught me what it was to make a statement and then to learn and then to apply that learning to then come back and course correct. And that was a lesson in ministry and leadership and in life that I had not yet learned. That was for me probably one of my most favorite moments in seminary, because I went, not only are they concerned about knowledge, but they're concerned about me as a person and helping me grow. So that brought emotional intelligence, that brought leadership capacity, like that, it brought everything in that one moment. And it was such a gift of God's grace to me. So that was probably one of my favorite memories.
That's incredible. Well, thank you guys so much for your time and for sharing your stories. I mean, I can't tell you how many goosebumps you've given me, and I can't wait to share this with the rest of the world. And again, that website is Destiny Rescue. Is Destiny's Rescue or Destiny Rescue?
DestinyRescue.org.
DestinyRescue.org. If people want to help, sign up. You can give money. You can sign up to be volunteers. You can sign up to host a Sunday. Please do all of those. One of those, do something to make a difference like Tom and Sarah are. Again, we are so proud of you guys. And real quickly, before we sign off, I just want to share with the viewing audience how you guys warm up for these, your interviews.
Oh,
Let's see if can you see that? That is awesome. If you guys want a copy of that, just check out their Facebook page. And
yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you guys for being such great sports and for what you're doing, for how you're making such a difference in the world. And can't thank you enough. And again, just tell you how proud we are of you. And if there's ever anything we can do that I can do, please let us know.
Yeah, thank you, Joel, and thank you guys for how you invest in leaders, and not just from the productivity standpoint of leaders, but to nourish their souls. It's just incredible to watch the leaders who are coming from Wesley Seminary, not only with educational capacity, but with a deep soul capacity as well.
Amen. Such an honor. Such an honor. Thank you for your time. And for those of you watching, thanks for watching. And remember, we are Wesley and you belong here. Have a great day. Blessings.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. That was fantastic.